You, Granny's white cat, was waiting for her when she arrived back at her cottage, along with several people wanting potions and poultices. One or two were looking for advice, but generally people were careful not to ask Granny Weatherwax, as she had a tendency to dish out advice whether wanted or not, such as the wisdom of not giving little Johnny handmade soldiers until he was old enough to know not to stuff them up his nose. She bustled round for another hour dishing out medicaments, and it was only much later that she realised she'd had nothing to eat since the dawn, so she heated up some pottage. Then, despite it being late, she went out and scrubbed the privy so hard she could see her face in it. But somehow, in the shimmering water, her face could also see her, and she sighed and said, "Drat! And tomorrow was going to be a much better day." It was a bright, sunny day, thought Granny Weatherwax, a perfect day. She'd been up all night and cleaned her cottage until everything that could shine was shining, the stove polished, the rag rug shaken, and the flagstones scrubbed. Then Granny cleaned the privy once again. Esmeralda Weatherwax was meticulous in these things, and the privy yielded to her efforts, and it shone amazingly. Watching her, the intensity that showed on her cat's face was remarkable. This was a different day, you sensed, a day not yet experienced, a day that bustled as if there would never be another day, and with the inside of the cottage up to scratch, you followed Granny through the scullery. Granny smiled. She'd always liked the scullery. It smelled of hard work being done properly. She went outside to the walled paddock at the back of the cottage to check on her goats, and once again all things were in their rightful place. Satisfied, Granny Weatherwax went to her beehives. "You are my bees," she said to them. "Thank you. You've given me my honey for years, and please don't be upset when someone new comes. I hope that you will give her as much honey as you've given me. And now, for the last time, I will dance with you." But the bees hummed softly and danced for her instead, gently pushing her mind out of their hive. And Granny Weatherwax said, "I was younger when I last danced with you, but I'm old now. There'll be no more dances for me." You kept away from the bees, but stalked through the garden, following Granny as she moved through the herbs, touching a frond or a leaf as she passed, and the whole garden seemed to answer her, the plants almost nodding their heads in respect. At the far end, Granny came to the apple tree old Mr. Parsons had given her only last year. Granny eyed the tiny apples appearing on the bough. Well, time was waiting. And so she walked back to her cottage door, acknowledging every root, stem, and fruit she passed. She fed the goats, who looked at her askance with their slotted eyes. Their gaze followed her as she turned to the chickens who always squabbled over their feed. Today, however, they didn't squabble, but looked at the old witch as if she wasn't there. With the animals fed, Granny Weatherwax went into the scullery and came back with a switch of willows. She got to work, teasing every piece into the right place. Then, when the thing was clearly excellent and fit for purpose, Granny Weatherwax left it near the foot of the stairs where it would be noticed for those with eyes to see. She tidied the remnants of her work back to the scullery and came out again with a small white bag and a red ribbon. She walked briskly into the woods, you trailing behind.